Hey guys, in front of me is the JGR36 or G36 HRIS, or they call it HMC or whatever. Anyway, this is a hybrid between a G36 and an M4. As you can see, the M4 magwell converter, the RIS front end, that's why it's called HRIS, and then they did give it a 614 stock on the back here. Yeah, so pretty much it's all the perks you like with the grip and the top receiver of a G36 that you like with the M4 adaptability that I prefer. Our team all runs M4s, and so we all either convert to this, but I didn't have to because it was already converted to it, so that was nice. And I also prefer RIS on all my weapons, and so that's what lured me in for this one, plus the price. Now they were liquidating these ones. This is the Gen 4, so it's slightly upgraded. I really was interested in it. The price actually dropped down about 120 when they had the whole G36 trademark issue, and they had to liquidate, so I got it on off of AMS. The price is back up now. They changed the back stock, I think, and bumped the price up to about 190, but you might get lucky and find it elsewhere for a better price. Now, I apologize, I'm doing handheld today because I'm shipping tomorrow, and so I just wanted to put this video together before I ship it, but we'll go ahead and start in the back. Like I said, this is the 614 stock, so it's rubberized on the back. It just pops out here. It's actually got a lot of battery storage. It's built for a large type battery, so it definitely fit my LiPo batteries that I had to go with it. So that's what I ran, 7.4 volt 15C battery. Now the stock itself sounds pretty cheap. I actually pulled this one off and ran a KWA stock just because I preferred the sturdiness of it to match the rest of the body. Actually, I feel like this is the cheapest part of the gun, and so if you can replace it, you might consider doing that. This back sling mount here is plastic. I don't have much faith in that. Didn't ever use it, so obviously it's still intact, but it might not be if you fall on it or push it too hard. Metal 5-point adjustment, so that's nice. Pretty much standard buffer tube, so it'll slide anything else that you might have right over it. So you get the whole G36 setup. This is actually a base. Technically, it's a base G36C, so it's the short version. But to say it's ABS polymer, I tried to differentiate between polymer and ABS, but that's what they define it, and it is pretty high grade. It's actually, it's not quite KWA or HRIS, but it's actually pretty good. Selector switch is actually pretty crisp. I was expecting it to be kind of floppy. Sorry, I have it. It's an ambidextrous. That's why I couldn't turn it on the table very well, one-handed especially. It does wear down if you put a sling here, but that's not their fault hardly. This will fit a lot of sling clips. It does, I believe, has a metal band on the inside, but it is made out of the same polymer as the body. But I put full stress on this, the full weight of the gun, no issues whatsoever. So that's the sling mount that I would use to point. The other thing is, it does show like the different attachments from the G36 that you would normally see, but it does not fold. This is a fixed back stock, so just keep that in consideration. Moving up, like I highlighted earlier, this is the M4 magwell, and the converter comes pre-installed, which is very nice. Most of my friends who bought any platform based the G36 base have converted to M4 mags because that's what our team chooses, so that all of us can run the buddy mags that some of us carry on the back of our plate carriers. In case somebody needs an emergency mag, we know that all of them will fit, so that's something to consider. This release here, never really used it. It doesn't work very well, as is the case with most of these I'm finding. I just use the side one, works every time. I use K120 mid caps. They did wobble a little bit because KWA does have that kind of unique fitment, but they did fit good enough so that I didn't even worry about trying to modify it at all. I tried some other mags and it worked great. Now, on the subject of mags, it does come with about a 300 round high cap metal. It's pretty standard. This upper rail here has fixed rear sight And forward sight, nothing special about that. This rail is quite long here. You can see about 10 inches. This one is, I believe, yes, plastic, same as the body of the gun. So it's not as sturdy, but it does, you know, it does make you have to double check and make sure it's not metal. But once you move up to here, this is metal, and it's not the cheapo, you know, the pot metal type stuff. It's actually pretty solid. I led through bushes and walls and other crap like that with this, and not worrying about bruising up my gun at all. And as you can see, it's been fielded 3 or 4 times. You know, I'm pretty light on my weapons, but no scratches. Pretty impressive. They do say that they do drop test these things from like 5 to 8 feet multiple times, and these ones actually stood up and still functioned afterwards and didn't break. So that's kind of impressive. If you trust their testing techniques and what they report to you. But anyway, the only downside to these rails, I think they're really good, except for the fact that they're a little bit smaller than the standard size HRIS. So if you're going to get like an MOE grip or something that can actually pinch down, so like you have your 2 adjustment screws and it'll pinch down, then you'll be just fine. I ran a RVG for a while. No problems. But if you do find anything like rail covers that are supposed to be form-fitting, they'll be a little loose, they'll wobble a little bit. So just be aware of that. Now moving to the front here, we have a plastic flash hider. I painted this one obviously, but it actually, if you're looking for a suppressor, be aware that the threading for the, let's see if I can get in here. The threading for the suppressor, whatever you put on, is actually right inside there. So if you're going to try to get a suppressor, you're going to have to get something that's very narrow or custom built. I actually built my own suppressor. That's what my company does, or did rather, while we were still functioning. So I made myself a custom one to fit flush inside here, and it actually looked pretty clean. So yeah, see, it's got a 247mm inner barrel, so it starts right about here, and you know, travels all the way up to, it actually makes it pretty well up there, especially for the G36C length. Now this is a 373, or 363 rather, that I was planning on putting in here. And you can see if you're going to put one in, you're going to have to get a little bit of some sort of barrel extension, because I think this will actually poke out just slightly outside of the barrel, or you can just, you know, buy a shorter tight bore. I actually was going to put in a tight bore, but decided not to because it actually shoots pretty accurately. I was running this as my backup secondary weapon, and I wanted something that was reliable, that I didn't have to modify at all to do good, and it was reliable for me. Works on full and semi-automatic pretty much all the time. I know some of the times I've had issues with my JGs not functioning on semi-automatic very well, but this one actually functions quite well. Other than that, the rate of fire, you know, is not impressive. It's probably 14 to 16, somewhere around there. And the FPS is at about 350, so you should be able to chrono for indoor play. And it is a compact enough weapon and light enough that you can maneuver it around pretty easily, but it is also very sturdy, and it does have some weight to it. So if you're a smaller person, you should be just fine. It's not like it's a full body metal gun, but it doesn't feel like a cheap toy. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't usually talk about unboxings or anything. I have the box here because I'm shipping it, but I do want to, you know, give kudos to JG because they actually built a box that doesn't have that styrofoam in it, and it is form-fitting and custom to this gun specifically, so good job to JG on the packaging. Other than that, if you have any questions, let me know. Personal message. Yeah, thanks for watching.